I'll second.
Okay, motion was made by Paul, seconded by April.
So my question
Does anybody
is.
have any,
Really? Sorry.
So I think I asked that last time. So when he presented this to us last year, though, we made the required reserve, yes?
Yes.
So does that just carry over into the next
So
budget?
that went back into the fund balance, back to the town balance, so back rate. We have to.
No, we have to rebudget again.
have to rebudget again? And they do have, in their contract, they do have the right to the same.
Yeah.
They do.
One,
No, they can, so they
As
can
many
rescind
times as they
anytime
want.
before they start collecting that notice.
once they collect it, they can't rescind. It's different, yeah.
Within discretion of the
Okay,
board.
so. Okay, motion's on the table, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, now we're on to informational items. Russ?
So, the SCES Facility Committee met back in September, and Paul and Heather sat on that committee, and I would invite them to ask and offer any comments regarding that committee meeting.
Heather, you want to go first?
Oh, okay. Well, that was a good meeting. We had a representative from NESDEC.
Harold.
Harriman.
And his name was?
Dan Beeson.
Dan Beeson, yes. And Dan was very familiar with the plans that Sunapee has proposed in previous years. There had been a few years, a few times over the years, over the 10-year period, that a new facility for the elementary school has been looked at. And we've looked at a new facility, we've looked at an addition to the facility we currently have, a renovation of facility. There are multiple plans out there now, and Dan was very familiar with them. Dan was very familiar with the process by which a warrant article is created until the facility becomes something usable by our students and teachers. So he was very informative, and he has the history and background with Sunapee in particular, and with the various schemes and plans that we have looked at over the years. And it was a good meeting. Of course, it was information sharing. I benefited too from the information that Paul has had over the years, as different renditions of the elementary school have been attempted to be passed, or at least brought forward to the warrant article stage. So that's a good summary of
Yeah, I
the
think so.
of
Yeah,
the
each
meeting.
and every time our warrant article was brought forward, we did, I believe, 3 warrant articles? 3 different renditions
Yeah,
of either rebuild or replace, and all 3 of them failed. We're an SB2 town, so that requires 60%, not a town vote of 2/3, which is 67. Basically just an informational. I looked around the room, and don't be offended when I say this, guys, but we've got Jody who was there, Matt Baranis was there, Russ and Heather, and none of them were around, and it's nice to have fresh eyes. None of them were around, and I think I probably took up too much time re-educating people as to what has happened in our community relative to the 3 warrant articles that failed, and what it is that will be required if we are to do a small renovation or a total rebuild, and the amount of effort that will be required by this board and all of you to move forward and get a vote in favor of it. It's a large project. We've been there.
So one of the pieces that came out, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
One of the pieces that came out of our committee meeting was potentially looking to gather some information. And so Matt currently is putting some information regarding our building, and the things that we have done to upgrade it, and the things that potentially are still issues within our building based upon educational specifications. We also thought about potentially doing an exit poll in the November elections. So asking maybe 3, 4 questions, just to folks as they came out. If we were going to do something with somebody, would you prefer us to do a renovation or build a new building? Would you like to leave it on the spot where it's at, or to find a new spot? Just to try to get some feel of the lay of the land. And so what I would do is we'll bring our committee back together. I've been working on some questions and doing some research. We'll bring that committee back together, probably without Dan this time. Make some recommendations regarding those questions and bring those forward to the board for the November meeting, because I believe the election is the following Tuesday. So I think that's where, and again, I would echo what Paul and Heather said. It was a really informative meeting. And Jody, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
No, I think our discussion was great. It was great to have Paul's history. It was great to see what had been proposed in the past and the differences between, there was kind of like a wraparound renovation that would have impacted the whole school for the whole time. There were some different options, so it was good to get that information.
Just one last thing.
Go ahead.
Dan Beeson, who was just brought in as a consultant, and we paid him on an hourly basis. And did he bill us?
No, because they told me we weren't sure how much
Okay.
more we might continue to use.
That wraparound was going, you remember, it was going to be able to be constructed and run the classes,
Mhm.
which was
Yeah.
good, which was kind of a nice feature.
Yep.
Because of the way that was going to go, but that was just one of those, which was interesting. No, that's good. It's good that you were able to attend. Strategic planning update.
So we had our strategic planning committee, and I'll just give a quick overview in our time. The whole committee came together. We had, I think, 5 teachers, community members from the elementary school, community members from the high school, 2 school board members, administration, all in all, somewhere between 14 and 16 folks. The folks from NESDEC came up, John Kennedy, laid out the process, talked about the report that he's put together to profiles our school and our district. The next step in this would be to set the focus groups. And again, this information will be coming out, but we've set some dates for the focus groups for November 9th and 10th. And on November 9th, I believe we talked about having the students probably 5 through 8, and then potentially the teachers at 3 o'clock, and then parents at 6 p.m. And then on the 10th, doing the students 9 through 12 during school, and then the community during at 6 p.m. at night. And the focus groups would be just NESDEC, and again, everyone in the community is invited when you fall into one of those groups, because everyone will fall into one of those groups. And to give sort of the what's going well, and what are some of the things that you think maybe the school could is looking at, potential issues that the school may have. And I think it's just going to be great information. From there, they will gather that information for us. They'll bring that back to the steering committee, and from there we'll create our goals, and then bring those goals forward to you as a board, and you'll have to approve those goals or kick them back to us to continue to work on. So the steering committee has a little bit of a hiatus, probably into sometime in December, January, potentially February, as far as waiting for that data to be gathered, and then fully determine what we're going to do. So that's a quick update. I don't know if, again, if board members were there, if they wanted to add to that.
No, April and Heather
You were
were
there.
We're there.
Do you have any?
No, I think
Heather,
it
or
was,
April?
yeah, I just want to say, I think they did a great job facilitating. Russ, I think you picked the right people to do that. And I think the people around the table were a good representation from parents, teachers, community, and I think it was a great mix.
Heather?
And again, it was a good information session, and we clearly have an expert who will confidently guide all of the strategic planning groups, including the steering committee and the forums that are, and then of course the board when the time is necessary through the process, which is important. I don't think that this is something that the board could handle on its own. I don't think it's something administration could handle on its own. And yet a strategic plan is extremely valuable when we look at the next 3 to 5 years for Sunapee. So I was confident after listening to the director, and confident with the statistics that were brought forward, that we're on the right track in developing a plan. And I think it also brings together our plans that we have, that we're looking at here as a board also, with facilities and grand plans for preventative maintenance and some of the other things that we discussed, right? The curriculum updates and plans for that. So it was good. I do want to add that the community, the first community information session, which would be November 10th, is also the date of the fall play at 7. So I don't know, I know that that play is generally well attended and it may conflict unless that is unless the plan is to have that be a rather short meeting.
I'll speak to them, potentially we can maybe start a little earlier. And there'll be, and we spoke to, if potentially a parent couldn't make a parent meeting, they could attend the community meeting and just go there identifying themselves as that parent. The facilitator did ask that people only attend one meeting. Obviously, if you're a community member, it means you don't have a child currently in school or enrolled in the school district as it is. And teachers, I can't take the teacher's hat, their parental hat off them, so they do have the opportunity to obviously sit and vote. But then the vice versa, if community members couldn't make it on the 10th, I would welcome them to come on the 9th. But again, when you're there, just identify yourself to the facilitator as a community. So hopefully that, Heather, will help with that conflict, and thank you.
And there are 2 days for the fall play, so if somebody was interested in going to.
Sure, that's the other one.
Who's the person? Is it Art?
John Kennedy.
Oh, John. Okay. The Abbott Library.
So community conversations. This really stems from last year, taking a look at the youth risk behavior survey that's given every other year to high school students in the state of New Hampshire. That data is tabulated and then put out across the state. We reviewed some of that information here at a board meeting. From there, again, one of the things I stated, and I'll continue to state, the drug and alcohol issue in youth issues that our children face are community issues. They're not just solely school issues. And because of that, I invited Sullivan County's drug and alcohol treatment folks to come and join us at the table. I invited Chief Cahill to sit at the table. And we are going to put a forum together on October 20th at the Abbott Library, where we will present information from all the fractions regarding sort of what's going on in our area, what are the things that we're doing. I think it's a great opportunity for parents and are all welcome of all ages to come and hear strategies, to perhaps share ideas. You'll be involved. There'll be some actual hands-on activities for parents and students to be involved in. This is a community issue. This is not a school issue, and that's why we are inviting other people to the table with us. We have our role, and we will play that role, but we also know there are other folks who play those roles, including parents and students. So we'll get information out. You'll see it up on our website. You'll see it in the papers. You'll see it in Twitter. You'll be hit with an email. You'll be hit in the Friday letter. It's right now, and it will be facilitated by someone from the UNH Cooperative Extension. So we have a facilitator coming in. So again, it's really a community event.
Sounds very good. Heather?
October 20th, 6 p.m. at the library.
I wanted to make a comment about the fact that, Russ, you mentioned that this is a community effort, and I'm confident that that statement is rooted in research in terms of overcoming drug and alcohol, or finding tools and strategies within schools and within the greater community to address these issues. So I appreciate the fact that you reached out to the greater community and recognize it as a greater community issue. And I also wanted to extend that thought, perhaps as we look at other issues within the school as they come up that are well researched and known to be wider community issues.
Anybody else have anything? Great, good job. Okay, we'll move on to manifest. Someone make a motion?
I will motion that we approve AP Manifest 2017-06, 07, and 07.1, as well as Payroll Manifest 2017-06.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Motion made by April and seconded by Paul.
And we reviewed them, so we're good.
Any questions or any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Okay, moving on, public forum again, and I just want to remind people that anybody want to speak, they can talk about the agenda, anything that's come up that you want to bring forward, they have any questions on.
Jody Nancy, Young Hill Road. I just wanted to touch upon the statement that you made earlier, Sean, as chairman, that with the public forum and how people have been disrespectful, thought it might be a good thing to point out that disagreeing is not always being disrespectful. I've been coming for 2 years and I haven't seen anybody be disrespectful. Having a heated conversation or being passionate shouldn't be labeled disrespectful simply because they disagree or have a problem. And I just think that was a statement that was very unfairly made tonight. And I would like to see that in the minutes, my statement.
Okay. Thank you. Agenda items for our next meeting.
We have state test results. We will finally have some final numbers from the state to be able to give that to you. We'll have some policy. And we'll have some proposed dates, I guess, at that point, to just
Probably
ratify.
have strategies, probably
Budget binders.
You'll have, thank you, Kelly.
Budget binders.
You'll have budget binders that you'll receive for.
One other item. On one of the last meeting, we discussed the policy for renewing tuition in students.
So you want to bring that to the committee?
Yeah, ask the committee to,
yeah. April, all in,
rather than have one.
take a look at that.
Yeah, we'd be happy to. We'd be happy to.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Any
Probably have some
presentations?
clarity on the ABC.
Yeah, we'll probably be able to discuss that a little more in depth.
Should be able to, I think.
There'll be more information.
Okay. That's it?
We do have a non-public.
Okay. We are going to have, so that's it for the agenda. We also have the student reps going to need a spot on the agenda.
Yes.
So that'll be the next one. And then what are we going to do under?
E. 91A, colon 32E.
Why don't we have someone that can make
I thought it was E as in Eric.
someone to make a
Rush, E as in Russ, E. Yes. I know, it's hard to hear down there. I'll make a motion to go into non-public under,
RSA 91A:3, number 3E.
exactly.
And
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Oh, yes. First by April, second by Paul, and yes for April.
Sean, could you
Hey,
pop one
hey.
off?
Yes.
Yes.
You could have sat in the front row and had some.
I can't get there. Thank you. That's all.
Students, fees, fines, and charges.
Yeah, we ended up going over that.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
It was lumped in the second reading.
You want to look at it?
It's financial, so I was curious.
I got it.
Yeah, we did.
Thanks, Kevin.